Thank you everyone for joining for another master class. Today I invited our special guest, Mac, to join us. And he is very creative in terms of financing and how to attract and talk to the clients. Sometimes the clients are just too narrow-minded, think one direction, while there are different strategy that we can use to bring them in. And I've seen many, many cases that it was impossible to go straight forward. So real estate, to a large extent, mostly when it comes to investment, it is all about strategy and how you lay things down so you can get finances. And the biggest thing for many people is finances. Again, yesterday the interest rate came down a little bit, and that would trigger a lot of interest for people to come back and do the transaction. So without further ado, Mac, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for having me back, Ashton. Really appreciate the opportunity to provide education to your network. Um, my name again is Mac Phillips. It might be the third or fourth time I've had the opportunity to speak with you folks. Just a quick refresher on who I am and what I'm all about, and then we'll jump into what I believe is going to be able to carry your business into the fall, as well as into the new year around the number one pain point for many first-time home buyers and how we can help them solve that. I've been in the industry now 5 or 6 years. Honestly, time is flying. It went with my hair. Things are going really, really well in the industry over the last few years, and I'm actually a platinum broker. Really, that just means that, the amount of volume that we do, the amount of families that we help. Right now, I'm in the top 5% of mortgage brokers across Canada, as far as volume of transactions, which is pretty cool. We've helped hundreds of families coast to coast. And I think where you can also lean on me is that I've not just gone through this from a business client perspective, but I also have my own real estate portfolio and can confidently guide folks, from the mistakes that we've, I'm sure, both made, as well as some cool things that we can give them as far as strategy to help them grow. I'm with Dominion Lending Centers. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is just walk you through what we're doing on our end to market right now and kind of what is the biggest opportunity based on time of year and also solving the number one pain point. It essentially is around helping your clients, any client that you know, person that you can benefit from helping, create a down payment in 90 days. Okay. So in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to show someone who had only $10,000, which for many people, they have that 10K, and turn that into $35,000 in 90 days so that they can actually purchase a home with you um, right now. In the next 6 months, they will be prepared, depending on when they start, because the idea is to have them purchase in the spring when we're in the midst of the tax season. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works and what to look for. So creating the down payment in 90 days is essentially understanding what the pain point is and the restriction of the client and giving them some education and opportunity around taking advantage of this solution. So firstly, this is a bit of a case study of an example of a family that we helped. So income. Both people have to be working. This is, moderate income for a Canadian family. One person makes 52, the other person makes 85. That's the family income. But however, due to whatever happened, they only have $10,000 saved. They need to increase their down payment because right now they are not able to purchase with the current savings, right? So right now they can't buy anything. What we want to try to do is get them into a home. So the new purchasing power is $600,000 that's created by RRSP loans. Okay. I'm not going to go into great detail on the RSP loan. That's for a one-on-one for us after. But what we want to do is get an RSP loan for $30,000. When you get that RSP loan, that's a cash injection into their RRSP. What that do is that creates a marginal tax rate refund for them through the marginal tax rate of the average family, they're going to get back $10,000 of free cash when RSP season comes. Okay. Now they have a new down payment of $35,000, leaving an additional $5,000 for closing costs. So we were able to turn $10,000 total cash towards the closing into $40,000 cash towards the closing, 35 of which goes to the down payment, 5 of which goes to closing costs through taking an RSP loan out. And I'll walk you through exactly what that little process looks like. So what we do is we get the client pre-qualified and we get them an RRSP loan. The RRSP loan goes into their RRSP. It has to sit there and mature for 90 days. If they're a first-time home buyer, they can withdraw it to go towards their down payment. And essentially, once it's matured for 90 days and they buy a house, they can pull those funds back out of their RRSP. So the 10K they had plus the $30,000 loan allows them to now have get $40,000, which is enough to purchase that property. Okay. So what essentially we want to do is also then blend that into other programs that get them past the 5%. And many of you have probably used and worked with Arboro in the past. So what we do now is we have that same client who maybe has the 5% down, they have their 30K, but maybe that 600,000 that we went through before is not enough. Maybe they need 750 or 800,000. Now this is where the combination of the two acting in together can really provide the greatest amount of power. We have the 5% we just created. Now we can actually get their down payment all the way up to 20% down because Arbor is going to provide between 5 and 15% towards the down payment. So let's fact find how Arbor works and some of the things to consider. So client just needs 5% down. If they don't have the 5%, we can create it. The client just needs to have some minimal savings to start. So that's the first big bonus. Arbor is going to provide between 5 and 15% towards their down payment to get them from 5% down to 20% down. Why do they want to do that? Because now the buying power massively increases, as well as their ability to not have to pay mortgage insurance. Okay? Something to know about freehold versus condo for Arbor today is that um, uh, the market is shifting. Condos right now, in the eyes of many investors, is not a good short-term solution because we think that values are going to continue to slide even further. Even though rates have come down, condo values are not expected to rebound anytime soon. So coming from an investment standpoint, with Arbro investing in that home, they're very risk averse when it comes to condos right now. They would prefer you invest with your clients in freeholds. So why is that important? Well, the minimum purchase price for Arboro is 550. So because that minimum is 550, that means that vast majority of those purchases at that price point are going to be condos. They really don't want to invest in condos right now. They would rather invest in freehold because they see the opportunity for returns. So getting the client from that 600 or 650 up to 750 or above is really going to be the key to everyone's success around using Arboro. The way that it works is that everyone's investing in that home. And if the home's not expected to appreciate in the next 2 to 3 years, is that a good investment? Okay. Where can Arboro lend? Arboro can lend across the GTA in the Golden Horseshoe. So think of Durham to what's on the west hand side? Halton, all the way up to Simcoe and Hamilton, London, Kitchener, Guelph, Waterloo. So a massive GTA area Arboro can invest in. So lots of opportunity to get your clients inside that zone in case they're looking just now outside of the zone. And essentially what it allows them to do is to get that 20% boost to their buying power. Um, I've personally been working with Arboro for the last couple of years, and me personally, I've made over $40,000 in commission from Arboro alone. So if you would like some additional commission, if that seems powerful to you, if you could use an extra 40K in a year and a half, just one aspect of my business in Arboro, I've been able to transact, I think, 6 or 7 times in just the last year and a half, and I've made almost 50K myself. So thinking of how powerful is this? Is there an opportunity? There's massive opportunity that's on the table that's not being taken advantage of. So who is this for? These are for your clients who are tenants, any lease leads, any tenants that you know that are renewing in the next, couple of months, the next year that have expressed interest in buying a home. They need to know about this so that they can prepare for the expiration of that lease. Any dead leads that you had, maybe they didn't have any savings. Maybe they said, listen, we want to buy a house, but we have no money. Anybody that you discounted or perhaps didn't follow up with because you didn't think there was opportunity there, there is now. So start calling those dead leads. Anyone still saving, anyone that say, hey, listen, I'm ready in a couple of years, I'm looking to save some more money. Those are prime candidates around explaining the value and the opportunity through getting a pre-approval and having your mortgage broker to explain this to them. Financial advisors love this. You know why? They all have a massive book of clients whose kids are looking to purchase homes and need a bit of oomph. They benefit financially from their clients buying homes from the vantage point of you need more advice, the more debt you carry. You need more insurance, the more debt you carry. Your debt is around your home. If you buy a home, you need more insurance and perhaps more strategy and advice. So financial advisors want to push this to their clients because they also get the ability to sell more products and services to their own clients. So if you know a financial advisor, if your clients have worked with a financial advisor that they would recommend, this is something that you want to have me and you and them sit down together and explain. Okay. Current buyers you're already working with, current buyers that already have pre-approvals, and perhaps the budget is not enough, or you need a little bit of a tweak, or maybe their parameters could be improved. Let's revisit those active pre-approvals. Just because they've been to the bank doesn't mean they're happy with the solution. Recommend a second opinion. And then, Facebook Marketplace, educational seminars. This is a great way to get the information out, to get people asking questions. Okay. What not to do. I know your knee-jerk reaction is to try to be an aficionado and explain Arboro and explain RSP loans. I caution and urge you not to do that. Why? They're going to ask you a question that you're not going to have the answer to, and it's either going to defeat and diminish your eyes of being an expert with that client, or it's going to simply stall the process. You do not want to try to explain this. Okay. What you want to do is understand who is beneficial, who this qualifies for, and you want to connect them with your mortgage broker. You want to be asking questions. How is your savings going? Are you using RSPs and FHSAs to save for a down payment? If so, why or why not? Have you heard that other first-time home buyers, what they're doing to get into bigger and better homes? Did you know that you can get a down payment in 90 days? These are the questions you want to be asking, guys. You do not want to be trying to say, hey, did you know you can move money in there and take it out in 90 days? No, no, no. That's not your job. Your job is to create interest, understand where there's a pain point, where you can add value around education, and that education is getting them in front of someone who has the information, i.e., your existing mortgage broker, i.e., me. You do not want to send the clients to the bank. The banks will not do this for them. Arboro is not an approved lending solution at the bank. They cannot get a mortgage outside of working with a mortgage broker if this strategy makes sense. So, to be able to provide the value to your clients through the RSP loan, through the Arboro program, you need two partners. You need a financial advisor to do the RSP loan, and you need a mortgage broker to do the Arboro mortgage. If you send your client to Arboro, if you try to educate them to say, hey, go to Arboro yourself, two things will happen. The first thing that will happen is you'll lose your client. Arboro have their own team of realtors. If you tell them to go to Arboro, they're gone. Second thing will happen is they have their own internal mortgage broker. If you want to have them work with your mortgage broker, that also will not happen. You have to provide strategy and advice to the client before trying to send them to different people. I work with Arboro for 3 to 4 years now. If you want to have a one-on-one, I'm happy to educate you as to what to do and how to be successful through both of these strategies. So, right now, this is the number one opportunity in the marketplace for mortgage brokers, for realtors right now, is around first-time home buyers. Forget investors right now. They're not buying. Forget pre-construction. From my vantage point, I would forget pre-construction. The role right now is resale, and it's first-time home buyers getting into the market between now and next summer. RSP loans are going to be the massive catalyst for the vast majority of your clients because the number one pain point is the down payment, and this almost solves it in totality. So I'd be happy to answer questions. I'd be happy to dive into anything further, but I think what we should do, if you're interested, let's have a one-on-one post meeting, and I can really dive into how we can get this message out to your clients and what's the best way to communicate it.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. I have a question.
Go
Uh,
for it.
So it's possible to buy a house with zero down. And correct me if wrong, you go and get your RSP, get your $30,000, and that's considered as your 5% or whatever percentage it is. Am I right?
You're 100% correct. Yeah, if a client has very minimal savings today, we can create the 5%. We can get them from 5 all the way to 20. And effectively, they could buy a house if they just have a couple grand sitting around right now. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. The second question I see it on the chat is what is the fee, for instance, of Arbro provides 15%?
There is no fee. It's an equity share product. What happens is that they invest in the equity of the home. They are given a certain equity split or share in the appreciation of the property. And when the client sells the home between now and the next 30 years, whatever appreciation has happened in the property is split with the homeowner and the investor Arboro. There is no cost, there is no interest, there is no monthly payments. It's almost like a JV partnership. I'm sure you guys know how JVs work. There's a money partner and an income partner, and they split the appreciation. The exact same model applies with Arboro. Only difference is it's based on the equity share, based on the down payment.
And is there any qualifications in terms of credit score that someone should have before they get engaged with Arbro?
Yeah, we have to have a minimum credit score. At least one person on the application has to have a minimum credit score of 600. You should ideally have no taxes owing, at least have a strategy to pay back your taxes, and you have to have active income. Arboro is not going to help you qualify for the mortgage. It's just down payment support. So if you need to qualify for $500,000 mortgage, you still need to qualify for the exact same mortgage. It's just a down payment support.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyone has any question here?
yeah. Is anybody using RSP loans or first-time home buyer strategies like this right now?
Okay, so that's one potential, and even I missed it sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
important to don't tell people the solution, just open the conversation, as Mike mentioned, to
Yeah.
entice the conversation and then get them in. Like if you have a list of 1,000 clients, just send in an email. Said, did you know that you might be able to buy a house with zero down? Am I right, Philip? Mac?
You couldn't be closer to the truth, Ashton. Honestly, I feel like we have that knee-jerk reaction to try to solve the problem, but really the idea is just to create interest. You really want them asking questions. If you've given them so much information that they don't have any questions, we haven't done our job. We should be piquing interest, getting them to lean in, and then getting them pre-approved. Um, that's the best way. That's at least the way that I've found it to be successful. And I'm sure the same success could be cascaded into your databases as well. Yeah. Many of you do leases. That's low-hanging fruit. They would love to buy a home, the vast majority of people who are renting.
So right now, I think it's a good opportunity because the interest rate came down a little bit yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to hear from you.
Yeah.
People want to hear from you. And right now is why we're pushing RSP loans is because the benefit is when you do your taxes in the spring. The benefit is when you do your taxes in February. And we're about 4 months from that time season. So now is when you want to get pre-approved and get started. If they wait until the new year, it's too late, right? You want
Wouldn't
to get the
asking
conversation
for a
started.
$30,000 loan would change your debt ratio?
It will. It absolutely will. It creates a debt payment. It creates a payment in the liabilities. However, if we have an applicant who they can take on an extra couple $100 a month in debt, then the application works. Um, Remember, we're not talking about a lot of extra debt. We're talking about $30,000. That's going to create an extra couple $100 a month in your liabilities. No more.
Okay. And Arbro is not in Ottawa. It is in
Uh,
GTA,
yeah,
Kitchener-Waterloo, London.
yeah, it's not in Ottawa just yet. It's just in the GTA, London, Kitchener, Guelph, Waterloo, Hamilton.
Okay. And for the money that they gave us, there's no interest. There's
Zero interest, zero interest. It's zero interest equity investment in your home.
okay.
Yeah. And you can have that home for 30 years before you have to think about selling and repaying the loan.
All right. Anyone
Yeah,
has any question?
yeah, yeah. Everyone's pipeline's full. Oh, that's good.
So my phone number is right on the screen. A recording of this, I know some of us need to come back and watch this one. I put everything on my YouTube channel, which calls Successful Realtors, and you can always access this information. Usually I post it at the evening of the same day. So tonight, Thursday tonight, you're gonna have the video on my YouTube channel, Successful Realtors. If you have any question, you can always give me a call. My number is 647-407-4049. And I'm connected with Mac and we work together. He provides me with mortgage and all the financial solutions. And thank you very much, Mike, for joining us. It was great. It was always good to understand and know there are solutions for many, many things. And hope to talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for having me again,
Thank
Ashton. Have a great day.